White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer announced his resignation after President Donald Trump hired financier Anthony Scaramucci as his communications director. This is according to a White House official. Let's get more now with Bloomberg's chief Washington correspondent, Kevin Cirilli. Kevin, the timeline on this, please.
We can barely keep up. I've spoken with several sources who were familiar with this in just the past hour, and I can tell you that last night was when all of this first started to come out, and that the Anthony Scaramucci of Skybridge Capital, someone who was a top fundraiser for then candidate Donald Trump, actually was interviewing for the job. At about 10 o'clock this morning, according to one of my senior sources, the job was offered to him specifically. And then following that, Sean Spicer has resigned. So this is a very clear shakeup in the communications department of the West Wing, something that has emerged as one of the most combative with the media, but also one of the most visible. And I've spoken with several sources in and outside of the White House who in the past several weeks have said the president had grown frustrated with Sean Spicer.
Interestingly, the story that we're learning is that the president didn't particularly want him to resign. He would have been happy for Spicer to stay on in another part of the communications team, perhaps.
Depends on who you ask. But I think that really what you are starting to see is this is the White House desperately trying to move on and get a new beginning from all of the Russia investigations that continue to cloud it, even as they would like to pivot to policy.
There had been so many times when we were wondering if there'd be a shake-up in the communications department, and now it's finally coming. Sean Spicer is resigning out of frustration that he didn't get this top job, or that he was being sidelined, not because it's been such a difficult job.
Well, the palace intrigue continues, right? And in that, how that palace intrigue impacts tax reform, healthcare, of course, we'll see play out next week, especially as Russia continues to have several hearings surrounding it, and top officials could testify, including Paul Manafort, Donald Trump Jr., on the issue of Anthony Scaramucci. This is someone that Washington is less familiar with. Wall Street is very familiar with the mooch, but they are not really familiar with him down inside the Beltway, and they're going to be.
And he had been sort of pinpointed for ambassador to the OECD, which of course wasn't exactly what he was expecting to begin with.
Then the Ex-Im Bank. And so this creates a vacuum at the Ex-Im Bank, because sources that I've talked with in the business community, which rely on it for some financing, Boeing, Caterpillar, Lockheed Martin, were relying on Anthony Scaramucci to potentially help them.
Although that was always temporary anyway.
Temporary,
but still, yeah, I know a lot. But that's only the beginning of the job.
Only the beginning.